All right. New this morning, the U.S. Treasury Department has issued sanctions against several state-backed Iranian groups, according to multiple reports. Officials say those groups were behind recent attempts to influence the election here in America.
Yep. The director of national intelligence says Iran used voter data to send emails to voters in an attempt to intimidate them. Now, if you were to receive one of those emails, how could you tell if it's legitimate or if it's fake? And is your voter data putting you at risk online? Well, Tom Kelly is the president and CEO of Portland-based IDX. That's a consumer privacy platform. He joins us live to discuss cybersecurity this election season. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
Good morning, Jenny and Emily.
Hi.
How are you today?
Oh, we're doing okay. Yeah, good to see you. This is, something that's been on people's
unsettling news this week.
Minds this week. Yeah. So, first, what are some ways that people can spot these fake emails? Because some of these emails that went out were pretty disturbing.
There's no question. This certainly highlights what we all have been hearing about, the ongoing efforts to influence the election by state actors. And that's something that should trouble everybody and, make us unsettled. There's two things I think that we ought to keep in mind. There are ways to spot it. There's very traditional. We get all kinds of spam. I mean, I'm sure both of you have received spam before, or phishing efforts, where it looks like it's coming from someone you think you know or an organization. And if you go up and hover over the email address, you can see that, well, this is not who it says it's to be. You'll find that it's an email address that is clearly not the financial institution or the government or whatever. That's where you can spot it there. They can get so sophisticated sometimes that you can't, but these, I believe that you clearly could have identified it. But most of us, unfortunately, don't put that kind of effort into it. But then there's the flip side of this, is what can you be doing to protect the data that is in fact getting constantly scraped and mined when you're doing anything online, whether it's commerce, socializing, research, education. Those are all the things that I think your listeners really need to pay attention. We got to take ownership of this as well. We know that these threats are there from both state actors and foreign actors, but we also have folks in the, you have all the different digital platforms that are constantly seeking to get our data and use them for a whole range of commerce or influencing of our opinions.
Right. So what are some of the places where people might want to be keeping a closer eye on that? We know the FBI, still looking into whether anything was hacked in this case, and there's, at a certain point, not much you can do to stop hackers if it's happening on, on another end. But what can we be doing online to maybe just be more careful about the information we're sharing?
Oh, no question about it. These emails that are sent become more powerful when your personal data gets included in there. Both of you are public figures, and you need to be constantly aware of the fact that somebody literally on social media could co-opt your identity. They could, now granted, some of them are more sophisticated and less sophisticated. So it all comes down to, how does somebody do that? Well, if they know a lot about your the basic stuff, your shopping, but you're traveling, what you post, all the images and all the information you share on Facebook, knowing your privacy settings when you open up applications that allow somebody to start tracking every place you go on the internet. This can build a profile. And on top of that, there are a lot of firms out there today that do their whole business is to scrape data, to go into these sites and go into various go into any of the digital sites out there to learn more about you, to basically create a better picture of Jenny, a better picture of Emily, in order to either sell to you or worse.
Now, what should you do if you get one? I am always tempted. I can usually spot if they're fake from the email address alone, like you were saying. I'm always tempted to send back some snarky email. I never have, because I don't know if that would then give them more information. I mean, what should someone do if they receive one of these fake emails?
Well, I've been tempted to use the old digital hammer. I understand exactly your reaction on that. But I think what you do is you delete it, okay? You mark it as spam, you delete it, and do not respond. Don't click on any link, do not respond to it, do nothing other than delete and mark it as spam. And that's, but also it is a reminder of what we need to do to protect our privacy. It's not a question of if this is going to happen to individuals anymore. It's only a question of when. And so these constant breaches, these constant invasions into our privacy, yes, it's state actors, and that's sinister. You think of an Iran or a Russia or a China, who are probably the most active in this world right now in the influence in the election. But it's all the large digital platforms. Google's in the news because of its antitrust, the antitrust action by the justice. But at the core of that antitrust action is an allegation of privacy violations as well. You know, the privacy scraping of data that has allowed them to build their ad empire. I mean, there's a host of this. We need to be aware that it's not just state actors, it's that friendly little digital commerce company next door that's doing this as well.
It is a lot to keep track of, and Tom, we know that IDX helps people with that as well. So if you feel like the online footprint is too overwhelming, definitely check out IDX for more online security. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Okay, 7:08 right now.